In the magical realm of Megpur lived Afia, a joyful and clever fairy. She had 3 best friends, Arisha, Rafida, and Nasheba. Together, they formed a perfect team. Someone knew laughter magic, another bloomed flowers, and another could color the wind. One day, they discovered that the colorful fountain in the kingdom's center suddenly dried up. The fountain's water held the magic power of all the fairies. If it dried up, the kingdom's laughter would vanish. Everyone got scared, but Afia said, "Don't worry, we'll do something together." They set out on an adventure, through clouds, under rainbows, and finally reached an old cave, where a mischievous shadow wizard lived who said, "The fountain is dried because I stole laughter." Rafida quietly spread flower nets around him. Arisha sprinkled sleep dust in the air. Nasheba lit up the cave with her song. And Afia, with her little magic wand, said, "Let the laughter return." Surprise! The shadow wizard suddenly laughed. His laughter brought back the fountain's colorful water. The kingdom was filled with light, song, and joy again. Once there was a village called Champerkani. At its end stood an old house. People called it the ghost house. But it wasn't a scary ghost, it was Gugu. Gugu was a jovial ghost who tickled people. Anyone walking by felt a breeze and a whisper. "Won't you laugh? Then I'll tickle." Gugu wasn't harmful, but greedy Zamindar Mughalchan disagreed. "The ghost occupies my house. It must leave." Mughalchan summoned a fake exorcist, Black Maharaja. Smoke rose, bells rang, Gugu appeared. Gugu said, "Solve my riddle first." The exorcist laughed. "A ghost's riddle? Go on." "Riddle, seen by all, yet untouchable, missing and people run. What is it?" The exorcist guessed, "Surely a ghost?" Gugu laughed. "No, it's your brain, doesn't work." On a sunny morning, Fairy Tilly sat on her shiny silver chair, old spellbook in hand. The book was her favorite, revealing spells to bloom flowers and summon rain. Tilly hummed gently, "Abracadabra, stop the wind. Huss." Suddenly, a gust of wind blew fiercely. A naughty breeze said, "This book's charming. Let me take it for a spin." Abruptly, the book whisked away into the sky. Tilly screamed, "Give it back. That's my only magic book." The book landed tangled on a tree branch. Tilly, turning red with anger, announced, "I'll recite a stop the wind spell now." Hurriedly, she mistakenly chanted, "Increase the wind," instead of stopping it. Instantly, the entire forest whirled chaotically. Leaves scattered, flowers danced, and Tilly herself floated skywards. "I'm searching for my spellbook, not a kite," she cried. Suddenly, the book spun around and landed on her head. Opening it angrily, a new spell shimmered, "Peace breeze." Quickly, Tilly recited, "Peace breeze, restore the forest's joy." In a colorful realm called Flowerland, naughty fairy Lila dwelled. She painted flowers in the sky, taught butterflies to dance, yet magic misfired. One day, she learned a new spell, object communication. Fairy Lila thought, if flowers and bugs speak, endless stories await. Waving her wand, she chanted, "Bing bong, ting tong, speak, objects speak." Suddenly, bugs, flowers, and butterflies began speaking simultaneously. A little red bug yelled, "I am Baloo. I want to be king." A bee roared, "King? I make honey. I'm more suited." A butterfly chirped, "They're fools. I'm beautiful. I'll be queen." Lila scratched her head. "Oh, I want to talk, not politics." Then emerged a green mischievous bug named Zimbo, chuckling. "Let's party with me as king. I declare a nap fest," said Zimbo. Amused, everyone laughed, delighting in Zimbo's jest. Lila remarked, "You're naughty, yet funny." Thus began Fairy Lila and mischievous Zimbo's friendship. However, trouble lurked in Zimbo. Beyond Cloud Realms was Jnanban Forest filled with paper-covered trees and singing birds. A bespectacled dragon, Dragulus, lived there, speaking words instead of fire. He'd toss encyclopedias, storybooks, and science texts from nostrils, mouth, and tail. One day, Dragulus discovered his books vanished. Enter Pippi, a book-eating fairy, who devoured stories like chocolate. Dragulus, puzzled, exclaimed, "Who's eating my books?" Pippi, wiping her face, admitted, "Sorry, Dragulus. These tales are irresistible." Dragulus, contemplating wisely, said, "I'll tell you new stories daily." Pippi agreed, "I'll listen, not eat." Their friendship blossomed with Dragulus narrating, Pippi recording magically. Their tales drew stars at night. Suddenly, a shadow monster, Shadowbook, devoured darkness in the forest. Dragulus and Pippi united. He showered knowledge, light, freedom. Pippi spun her wand, proclaiming, "Dark falls before good tales." Together, they melted Shadowbook to ink, brightening Jnanban. In the vibrant fairy kingdom of Rangdanooper, colors danced in everything. From blue leaves to singing flowers, and even color-changing clouds graced the skies. Amongst them was Rankata Peri, the clumsy fairy mischievously splashing colors everywhere. One morning, a royal task came, paint a new rainbow for King Rainshoar's Cloud Festival. Elated, she declared, "I'll create a rainbow so funny, everyone will roll with laughter." Unaware of the literal truth of her words, she opened her paint bottles, waved her wand, and enchanting color filled the sky. Instead of the sky, the palace became the canvas of giggles and mishaps. Suddenly, the king turned green, the queen blue, guards pink, elephants dotted. The king yelled, "Fairy, my kingdom's turned into a colorful circus." Embarrassed, Rankata Peri murmured, "It'll fix with some sunshine." Just then, rain poured, a colorful flood turned the kingdom slippery. People slid, struggling to recognize each other, laughter amidst chaos. Colors came alive, red laughed, blue sang, and green danced. Afraid, Rankata Peri cried, "I didn't mean for colors to dance." The colors rejoiced, "We're free, we'll paint the world." There was a strange kingdom, Pillowpur. Everything was soft like cotton here. Dreams roamed the air, clouds shared tales while lounging on cushions. In this land, soldiers fought not with swords, but with slumber spells. Their battles meant lulling foes to sleep, so no one suffered. King Nidresh, the sleep-loving monarch, rewarded naps with promotions. His favorite, Captain Ninderman, could sleep and still give reports. One day, he announced in court, "My king, we face a threat." "A threat? Does it mean sleep is ending?" King Nidresh asked, rubbing his eyes. Suddenly, the sky turned dark. The moon vanished behind clouds. Strange noises echoed from Pillow Forest. Bor ha ha, hu. Nightmare soldiers, who steal others' sleep, were responsible. "Ninderman, wake the sleep soldiers," commanded the frightened king. Ninderman rushed, but found all soldiers in deep sleep, trapped. Nightmares had cast the eternal slumber smoke upon them. Just then, a mischievous fairy, Nap Fairy, descended. "I can induce sleep, but not awaken," she stated solemnly. Skyland was a magical world where clouds sang, danced, and lulled rainbows to sleep. There lived a little fairy named Millie, who was quite different, always making mistakes. She'd spill colors on clouds or arrange lightning as flowers. One morning, the sun noticed. The rainbow was missing. Children on Earth peered out, waiting, but the sky was empty. Sun sternly said, "Call the Cloud Council. Rainbow is missing." Clouds gathered, some said. Maybe it went to sunny lands. Others suggested, perhaps rain washed it away. Millie stood silently with a hint of guilt in her eyes. She whispered, "It might be sleeping in my swing." Everyone turned. The previous night, Millie sang a lullaby to the rainbow in her cloud swing but cast a mistaken spell. Instead of sleep, it sent the rainbow into eternal slumber. As a result, the rainbow curled up on the cloud swing, drifting beyond Skyland to unknown realms. Terrified, Millie cried, "I didn't mean it. I just wanted to cheer it up." The sun softly replied, "Then your spell shall be laughter now, Millie. Wake the rainbow with joy." Gathering courage, Millie flew over cloud waves, lightning caverns, rain tunnels, silver wind fields. She reached the magical land where the sleeping rainbow lay. Millie whispered, "Rainbow, wake up, the world needs your colors." Silence. Then Millie's antics began. Laboni, a little fairy, lived in a cloud forest. In her forest, flowers laughed and cheered. When someone was sad, flowers frowned silently. If someone laughed, joyful sounds spread everywhere. Laboni's responsibility was to make flowers laugh daily. She sang a song every morning to cheer them. Everything was perfect until one day, clouds darkened. An eerie rain of tears fell from above. Flowers closed one after another, puzzling Laboni. A mischievous wizard had cast a spell of sadness. Laboni exclaimed, "I won't let my laughter forest die." She flew to the Vale of Tears with hope. There, Laboni met Nilu, the spirit of rain. Nilu revealed how to break the sadness spell. "Trade joy and cheer for another smile," Nilu said. Laboni decided to give all her laughter away. Once there was a mischievous fairy named Twinkle. She was cheerful, but excessively naughty. Her magic spells always went awry. One morning, she decided, "Let's have fun at the castle." Twinkle flew to the royal garden. A frog sitting there suddenly spoke, "Hey, fairy, cast a spell on me." Twinkle was surprised. "A speaking frog?" The frog solemnly said, "I'm Prince Ranir. A witch cursed me, so I stayed a frog. Unless someone kisses me, I'll remain as is." Twinkle smirked. "A kiss? Such old tale. Let's do a new type of magic instead." She waved her wand and said, "Abracadabra, frog be rumba prince." Suddenly, thud, the frog turned into a disco dancer. It started singing, "Ribbit, ribbit, I'm the Frog King, my dance will make you swing." Twinkle giggled uncontrollably. But guards heard the noise and seized both. The king came vehemently asking, "What is this commotion? Who's singing?" Twinkle, embarrassed, said, "Sorry, I just wanted to help." The king laughed softly and said, "Magic means responsibility. Wisdom hides in laughter, little fairy." In the distant land of Adanagar lived King Pulakanand. His kingdom was renowned for magical bread. Not just any bread, these could talk, sing, and even dance. King Pulakanand, an exceptional cook, infused his creations with magic. One bite and people laughed, slept, or danced uncontrollably. One day, the king declared, "Create better magic bread and win my bread award." Excited, the citizens buzzed, but a mischievous baker's son, Pinjlu, was most eager. Pinjlu decided to create bread that would astonish the entire kingdom. However, Pinjlu lacked magic skills. Undeterred, he sneaked into the royal magic chamber. There he found an ancient spellbook titled Roti Rahasayamala. Rushing, he read, "Abraka, roti boom," and bread landed on his head. The bread began singing, "Hello, Pinjlu. I'm your new hat." The magical bread sang wherever Pinjlu went, market, streets, even the competition. The king laughed heartily, declaring, "This is the kingdom's funniest bread." Overjoyed, he proclaimed, "You've made the kingdom smile. You're the magic bread king." Mishtaland was a magical land with cake hills and chocolate rivers. Everyone was happy, as sadness didn't exist, only laughter and sweets. But one morning, suddenly, all sweets turned sour. A sour scent came from the chocolate river, cupcakes frowned. Candy trees claimed they were sour fruits. The sweetest fairy, Sugar Fairy, became anxious. How did this magic happen? Everything's turning sour. Princess Madhumita arrived accusingly. "Sugar Fairy, did you mess up your spells again?"
No, no.
"I was practicing new sweet-making spells. I might have mispronounced one." They all found an old prophecy. When sweets turn sour, laughter reverses. Only a true laugh restores sweetness. The kingdom tried making each other laugh, dancing, jokes with Rasgulla hats, but nothing worked. Then a little boy, Ladu, stepped forward. "If sweets aren't sweet, we'll stay together." He laughed joyfully, shaking the kingdom. Sour cakes regained sweetness, chocolate rivers flowed sweetly. Candies danced on tree branches. Sugar Fairy scratched her head. "I'll make sure I get the spells right next time." In a land far away lived a dragon called Dragulu. He sang songs instead of breathing fire. Other dragons gave mighty roars, but from Dragula's mouth came, "La la 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 la." This melody made flowers bloom, and cows would sway their heads in rhythm. But the problem was, his singing was so loud that palace windows shattered, and mountain snow began to melt. The kingdom worried, "If we cannot stop this singing dragon, the entire kingdom will one day float away." The king announced, "Whoever silences this singing dragon will receive a crown of gold and a donkey full of lattice." Everyone tried. Some stuffed cotton in their ears, some made throat potions, some tried to scare Dragulu. But the more they scared him, the louder he sang, "I cannot live without singing. I'm a dragon. I'm a rock star." Just then, a small fairy named Melina appeared. She laughed and said, "Instead of silencing, let's tune the melody." She waved her magic wand and said, "Stay in tune. Let's burn not mountains or bamboo barks." Surprisingly, from Dragula's mouth came colorful light of melody instead of fire. When he sang, stars lit up the sky, and rivers flowed to the rhythm of tunes. One day, Melina and Dragulu went to a mysterious valley where trees spoke and stones danced. There, they heard terrible news. A wicked wizard had cast a mute spell, preventing all kingdom's creatures from speaking. Melina said, "Dragulu, your melody will free them." Dragulu was nervous. "But what if wrong tunes break mountains?" Melina laughed. "Then we'll build new mountains." In a magical realm, a tiny fairy named Lena lived eagerly exploring spells. Lena was vivacious, joyful, and overly curious, always eager to learn spells. However, she struggled to memorize incantations correctly, often with comical results. One morning, Lena declared at Fairy Academy, "I'll become invisible today." Her friends laughed, reminding her of past mishaps turning broom instead of blooming flowers. Undeterred, Lena raised her wand, uttering, "Abracadabra, invisible I become, unseen by sight." A dazzling glitter surrounded her, and quietly, she disappeared into thin air. Other fairies gasped, "Oh, dear, she's truly invisible," they exclaimed. Lena joyously shouted, but alas, her voice was heard but unseen. She dashed into the palace, attempting to adorn the princess's hair with flowers. Startled, the princess screamed, "A ghost is touching my hair." Lena chuckled heartily, but when gazing in a mirror, saw only a floating wand. Now the trouble began. Lena's incantation error meant invisibility lasted a week instead of a day. Unseen, no meals awaited her, and people sat atop her invisible form. Whenever she tried speaking, everyone around fled in fright. Lonely one night, Lena wept, "I only wanted fun. Now I'm alone." In the Magic Realm's corner lived Fairy Tanya. Her light-hearted antics amused everyone. Tanya's favorite was her old broom. It flew the wrong direction, mostly upwards. One day, Tanya planned a birthday surprise. "I'll shower chocolates for the princess," she thought. Off she went, but the broom misbehaved. Instead of chocolates, spicy chilies rained. The palace was in chaos. Fire, tears, everyone shouted. The crying princess asked, "Where's my chocolate?" Tanya realized her mistake with the bottle. She tried to correct the broom. It now poured strawberry syrup rain. The kingdom glowed with sweet red. King laughed, "What a delightful disaster." In a corner of the magical kingdom lived a careless fairy named Lima. Lima was very kind, but a bit forgetful. One day, while flying in the sky, she discovered a new magic wand. The wand read, "Sleep-inducing wand, one touch for sleep, one puff for dreams." The fairy Lima thought, "Wow, I shall gift everyone a sweet sleep." She flew in front of the palace and said, "Close your eyes and go to the land of dreams." But, mistakenly, the magic affected the animals instead of the people. The rooster did not crow, the dog did not bark, everything was silent. The sun had risen in the morning, but no one knew. The king was anxious. The entire kingdom was in darkness. No one noticed the sunrise. Lima saw the silence around her. Is everyone asleep? Is my magic too much? In a hurry, she waved the wand. "Wake up, everyone." But disaster struck. The animals woke up, and the sun rose 3 times in the sky. There were 3 shadows in the kingdom, 3 mornings. Everyone was panting. Fairy Lima ran and opened the magic book. I had blown the wrong spell. 1 touch for sleep, 1 kiss for awakening. Lima gave a gentle kiss. In an instant, everything was normal. There was only one sun, and the kingdom was cheerful again. The king said, "Fairy Lima, I saw 3 mornings with your magic." Everyone shared the tale of Sleep Fairy Lima and the triple sun. Laughter returned to the kingdom. Lima declared, "From today, I shall only tell stories of sleep." Laughter echoed throughout the kingdom. In a distant kingdom, there lived a brave princess named Ishita. She was in search of an invisible city. The people of the kingdom said that finding the city would unlock the key to fortune. One night, Ishita saw a distinct sound in the stars of the sky. The next day, at her door, stood a mysterious silver horse. The silver horse asked, "Are you ready to step onto the path of truth?" Ishita replied, "I am ready," and mounted the horse to set off. She had to overcome 3 terrifying challenges. The bridge of darkness. She walked across, stepping on faith. The mirage of deception. She discerned all illusions. The river of time. She remained with the aid of the silver horse. At last, she arrived at a city made of glass. An old sage said, "This is the city of the heart." Suddenly, a wicked sorcerer appeared, intent on seizing the city. Ishita fought with her sword and defeated the sorcerer. Before the sorcerer vanished, he said, "The city will be protected by the purity of your heart." Ishita returned to her kingdom, transformed by a new light. She became known everywhere as the Princess of Light. In a colorful world called Chandra Woods lived Fairy Fulguri. She was kind yet slightly forgetful. Fulguri's magic often had unintended effects. One day, a significant announcement echoed the forest. Fairy with best magic wins a shiny blue gem. Full Jury was excited to show unique magic. Waving her wand, she declared, "Abracadabra." Instead of sweet fruits, trees rained soap bubbles. Birds sneezed away, squirrels flew in bubbles. Determined, Full Jury tried another spell. Abracadabra, the river shall smell like flowers. The river instead roared laughter, not fragrance. Water giggled, ha 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 downstream, fish creating foam. Fairies were bewildered, many laughed uncontrollably. Queen Fairy couldn't suppress her laughter either. Full Jury, your magic is reversed but joyful. In the secluded village of Tirulapur, there was a peculiar shop called the Time Seller. The shopkeeper, known as Clock Uncle, was a mysterious old man. No one knew where he had come from. In his shop, time was sold. One day, a curious girl named Trina entered the shop. Clock Uncle asked, "What do you want?" Trina smiled and replied, "I wish to go back to yesterday." Clock Uncle handed her a shiny silver clock. "Turn this 3 times, and time will reverse." Trina turned the clock, and time went back. She was happy, as she could correct her mistakes. However, correcting the mistake would harm her friend. She tried to turn the clock again. The clock didn't work, and time became chaotic. People walked backwards, and the sun rose in the west. When Trina asked Clock Uncle for help, he said, "Time teaches us that every mistake is necessary." Trina turned the clock one last time, and everything returned to normal. The silver clock remained in her hand, but the hands were still moving backwards. Trina smiled, realizing that when the heart is on the right path, time aligns correctly.